Good evening. Motivation. Some of us have a lot of it, some of us don't have enough of it, and if you're like me, you lose motivation really easily. If you know me, then you know that I'm an artist, and if you know an artist, you know a lot of them get sidetracked really easily and lose motivation to finish pieces. Maybe it's because we fall in love with a concept, and then when we get started, the execution just isn't what we want it to be. I've had many ideas that I've really liked, but scrapped because the execution just wasn't right, or it wasn't fitting the idea that I had in my head. So because of this, I have failed to create many pieces because of my lack of motivation. But how does motivation play into our faith? Well, for one, we have to have motivation in our work for the Lord. 1 Corinthians 15:58 says, "Therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain." To be immovable and always abounding is not an easy task, especially for someone with little to no motivation. I know it can be hard sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed on Sunday morning. Sometimes it's hard to get up and go to a Wednesday night worship service, but it requires motivation. And according to the last part of the verse, there is something great waiting for us when we leave this earth, because our labor will not be in vain. I truly hope that everyone on this planet could experience what heaven is like. But that's simply not the case, because a lot of people we know now would rather put all their motivation into telling you why you are wrong than explain why they are right. We did this exercise in my 11th grade English class when we were learning how to write argumentative papers. We had to learn how to present facts and evidence on our side and then use the logic and facts that the opponent presented to weaken their own argument. And when we had the verbal debate in our class, I remember that my teacher told our class that yelling does not make your point right, it makes your point louder. I thought this was a very good point that she brought up, because I think people think that if they scream what they believe is right to us, that if they do it loud enough, that you'll finally cave and then just give up. But they don't understand that yelling doesn't cover up the fact that they don't have a sound argument, but they have a lack of motivation into hearing scenarios from another point of view. So the main point that I wanted to get you from this lesson is that motivation plays a big part into your faith and in your life. So don't be bogged down with a lack of motivation when you could be doing great things that make this world a better place. And if you have any need, come now as we stand and as we sing.